Well, here we are. It's Monday, December the 16th, and welcome back to Open Door. And this is your host, Bill Effler. This is week 3 of what I've called the Christmas Compass. And if you've missed one or two, if this is even your first time hearing about this show, that's not a problem because each one of these 4 sequences are, in fact, a sequence, and I've written them very much in a standalone type of format. But if you're back with me, if you've heard the first 2, and I've heard from some of you, I appreciate the feedback that I've gotten. So I am looking at John 3:16 in these 4 weeks, and I have landed on the Passion Translation. And if you have a different translation, that's fine. But for my purposes here on this Christmas Compass 4 weeks, I have chosen this. This is how the Passion Translation reads for John 3:16. Here is the way God loved the world. He gave his only unique Son as a gift, and everyone who believes in him will never die, but experience everlasting life. And so sandwiched into those several words are 4 words that I've identified as different parts of the compass. Our very first week, I identified love as the northernmost point of the Christmas compass. A person could spend a lifetime, I suppose, and many have, quite frankly, have looked at this directional sign. And personally, when I hear the word love, my mind and my heart tilts towards Jesus' statement when he says there's no greater love. I mean, that's quite a statement, quite an evaluation. He says there's no greater love that anyone has, and they would lay their life down for their friends. And to me, this speaks of sacrificial love. This could even be seen as an allusion to him referring to what would be his crucifixion. But I think really looking at this very relationally and behaviorally, he's talking about a sacrificial love here. He's talking about a love that is not sentimental, it's not conditional, it's not ritualized or convenient. A secular songwriter, one of my favorites, Joni Mitchell, one time said that love is just a word I heard when things were being said, and I've always loved that lyric. It's also haunted me. It makes me feel sad, and I would hope that you'd never get to that place where love would be just a word that somebody in your life just hears, but it really means nothing. But love was an important part of John's life. In fact, in his final writings, he really came down on this. He wrote 3 smaller letters in the New Testament, and some of you know this. It's 1st, 2nd, and 3rd John, 3 very small, very personal letters. And in this letter, he says, there is no fear in love because perfect love casts out all fear. Well, I think at the initial stages of particularly an intimate or a romantic relationship, there's a fair amount of fear. But I think that what he's saying there is the bottom line when we land, when the butterflies go away, and they come back from time to time for sure in a relationship, he's saying that there's absolutely no fear in that. And then in 6 verses, this is in the 4th chapter, he mentions in just 6 verses 14 times this aspect of love. And by the end of John's life, and the idea of love seems to have really taken over his writings. I would say that love was a big deal to John. And a quick review of love speaking to you is that when you're thinking about this, if you get a pause right now, and if you're thinking about an element of fear or intrepidation or pause, I think that this is reason for you to slow down and maybe try to figure out, well, what's going on with you in this 4-letter word, love. Well, the second reference point in our Christmas compass, and that's enough of a review on North love. The second aspect was that I mentioned that the easternmost part of the compass is gave, and that is that God gave or God gives, and we already know that it's in God's character. The very thing that we know is that God is a giver. A giving that is sacrificial, a giving that comes with no strings attached. I remember seeing a client in counseling many years ago now, and they were in great need, and I also knew that they were unemployed at the time, couldn't afford counseling, but they approached me, and I said, "Hey, come into my office and let's see what's going on." And they said, "Well, I'm." What do you charge? And I said, you can't afford me, but I'm wanting you to come in anyway. I'm not going to charge you. And they were shocked at that I would just see them and not charge them at all. Sometimes there's times in our life where we have to give in just that way, extravagantly. So we need to gift people. Just this week, I was going through our mail at home, and some of you're getting Christmas cards at this time of the year, and people are still sending those out. And I'm guessing that at this juncture, by December the 16th, you're probably doing that if you, in fact, are sending out cards. But I opened up a card, and I opened up that card, and there was a brand new $100 bill in the card. And I looked who it was from, and it was somebody who I had helped during the year. And I called him up and I said, "Hey, what's with this? What's with this? What's with this gift?" And they laughed and they said, "This is just a little bit from us to you because you do so much for so many people." And I kind of went, man, I wasn't expecting that. They, out of the generosity of their life, they wanted to give. And then even this past week, a friend of mine, they didn't give me money, but they gave me a song, and they sent me something, and they said, I'm really wanting you to listen to this. And so I did, and I loved it so much that I put it up on my Facebook page, and a key lyric in that song is this: people come into our lives for a reason, bringing something that we must learn, and I know who I am today because of you. When I posted this song, I got lit up all over the place, and I just really know that a huge part of giving is giving ourselves. I would want to play with that word presence, that you need to be a presence in somebody's life, and your presence actually becomes a gift. It actually becomes a present to them. Well, now we turn to our southernmost part of the Christmas compass, and that's enough of a review. And if true north really points to love, and give is the eastern director of our compass, we now turn to the southernmost part, the bottom part of our compass, and that word is believe. And so, again, the Passion Translation says that here's what we can say: that God loved the world, and that he gave his only unique son as a gift. And then he goes on and he says, everyone who believes. And so there's that watchword. And, as a writer and as a researcher and just as a person doing life right along with you, it gave me pause. And I was thinking, what do people believe today? Well, as I go about my day and as I think about, this Christmas season and what I believe, I'm reading other things all the time. And one of the things that I'm just absolutely was aware of is that a new book came out on Amazon recently, and its title is The Happiest Man on Earth: The Beautiful Life of an Auschwitz Survivor. And some of you don't know what Auschwitz is, but Auschwitz was a concentration camp for Jews during World War II, and they were exterminated. And I just want to pause here to say that there are times when out of nowhere, God will seemingly, interrupt you with an idea, a motivation, an urge. Somebody's face will cross your radar screen. That's a phrase that I kind of use. It happened to me today. I couldn't shake it, and so I ended up sending this person out a text, and they immediately responded back and said, "Thank you so much for that." And so what I'm wanting you to be aware of is that there's going to be times in your life where you're going to be doing what Kristen calls your dailies, and God's going to, in the language of the gospel writer Luke, God's going to suddenly invade your life and is going to ask you to consider, doing something. And it's in that event, in that experience, that I'm wanting you to believe, there's the word, that God has a way of getting to us. Well, I'm only partway through the description of what makes this man the happiest man on earth. Again, that's the title of this memoir by this Auschwitz survivor. But as I'm making my way through this, I'm very aware that southern part, that bottom point of the compass, is believe. And I was struck, even at the beginning of this man's horrific accounting of the breaking of human spirit, that it was the power of hope and kindness and really much more that enabled him to be, in the language of the Apostle Paul, more than a conqueror. And so he has much to say, but I just want to lift 4 beliefs that he has. And again, today's focus in the Christmas compass is that anyone who believes in him, and there's that word, and these are 4 beliefs that this writer talks about. He mentions the reality, and by the way, his name is Eddie Jaku, and he said that a signature element, a signature belief for him was gratitude. And that it was gratitude, that is to say, being thankful, enabled him to transform his pain into peace. To have an attitude of gratitude when everything is going against you is not easy. And this man was in a concentration camp. I mean, he didn't know if he was going to live to see the next day, but he said that gratitude or thanksgiving was a big thing. Do you believe, I'm asking you this morning or this evening, whenever you're listening to this, do you actually believe in the power of gratitude? A second belief that he has is that happiness was a daily choice. Happiness was a daily choice. Again, each one of these ideas that I'm going to lift here are a teaching in and of themselves, but the decision to be happy. I mean, in Chris's car, she has a thing hanging from the center mirror, and on that there is a placard, and the placard says, "Today I just think I will be happy." It's a decision. A third belief that Jaku has is that forgiveness leads to resilience, and he actually writes that. And you can imagine that, this past year, as I have now written and published a book, on the resilient life, I make the comment in my book also that there's a direct connection between forgiveness, that is to say, the gift that you're giving somebody else, so you can get your life back, so you can get up, so you can march forward and not look back, period. I think there's a direct connection there. And then a fourth belief, and I'm almost done here with the section on belief, but a fourth belief that he references is the indispensable power of human connection. one of the things in my own research that I know, and my book, we actually did a sampling of people, was that one of the ways that people get their life back is by making the decision that they need human connection and that they believe to get out of their problem, they will need the help of another. That is a belief. So again, these four beliefs that he mentions are the belief of gratitude, the belief that happiness is a choice, the belief that forgiveness sets a person free, and then obviously this fourth part of that of human connection. So, I think I'm done for today. We're about 15 minutes in, and that's really about what I want to do. But I want to just end today's session by asking you the question: what do you actually believe about the Christmas story? I'll see you next week. Until then, this is Bill Effler, and if this has been a meaningful podcast for you, feel free to share it with a friend. And I'll see you in another week, and it will be that much closer to Christmas. Bye-bye now.